know.
We're back, ladies and gentlemen. It's the Rob Black Show! How are you guys? Man, my arms are sore today. I was doing my tries. These are the triceps, right? Yeah, these are my tries. Before I jump into the news with the most beautiful girl in the world, I know I touched this a smidgen, and I'm gonna do a big thing about this Monday because if we do anything about it now, it's just gonna get lost in the Ebola shuffle. Ebola. It's gonna get lost in Ebola. But we added 248,000 jobs in September. It's 250,000 jobs in September, okay? It brought the unemployment rate down to 5.9%, okay? It's the lowest level it's been since July of 2008, okay? July of 2008. So basically, the damage that George Bush did and the Republicans did, President Obama basically has gotten us back even. I mean, that's really what it amounts to. Okay, that really is what it amounts to. All the damage that Bush did to this economy, to this country, Obama has basically taken us right back out of the darkness. And again, it's scary to think what would have happened if you had a Congress and people that actually cooperated with them, and what would have happened if the economy wasn't as destroyed as it was when George Bush handed the ball to Obama. I mean, you guys got to understand, so unemployment was almost 9% at one point. Almost 9%. And it's 5.9 now. That's like 3 points. We lost over 10 million jobs. We've gotten all those jobs back, and now we're adding jobs. So I'm going to do more about that Monday, but the fact that we are where we are is huge. And you know what's funny? It's still not good enough for Republicans because they will still say, well, there's still a lot of people out of work. And it's like, well, Jesus Christ. There's always going to be people out of work. There's always going to be people out of work. But at what level are you, well, and the jobs aren't good jobs. You know, I subscribe to a newsletter, and I never realized it until this year that the guy was a Republican douchebag, and he's a PR guy. His name's Michael Levine, and he has a news thing called Levine Breaking News, and I get it randomly throughout the day, and I never realized that he was a Republican douchebag. And it's weird that he works in Hollywood and he's part of this whole Hollywood system, and he's Jewish and he's a Republican douchebag. It's just bizarre, but his update says unemployment lowest since July 2008. and it says with the the rate and everything, but the picture next to it is a guy in a sweater with a tie, and he's holding a sign saying "looking for a job." So it's like, yes, unemployment rate is down. We added 250,000 jobs, but people are still looking for work. Well, no shit. People are always going to be looking for work. I mean, that's like our life. Our life is perpetually looking for work. It really is. Even if you're successful and you're a movie actor, you're always looking for work. You're always looking for the next role. And eventually, once you are no longer successful making hit movies, you then become like Adam Sandler and go to Netflix and things like that. But you're looking for work. You're looking for a job. If you're an executive or you're at a place and you're making 30, 40, 50, 60,000 a year, you're always looking for work. You're always looking for a better job. So, the fucking Republicans, man, they're just never satisfied with anything. And what's pretty wild is what the hell is going to happen come 2016. Remember, Obama's been president for 6 years, and it started here, and since then, it's doing this. It's not all of a sudden going to turn around and go right into the toilet. So it's just going to keep getting better. Normally, what happens is, after a president runs for 8 years, the next president comes in, and it's like, okay, this is bad, that's bad. You know, when Bill Clinton came into office, Bill Clinton came in and the economy was shitty. And he brought this new vision that, you know, we're going to rebuild America. And when Obama got in office, we were coming in to an economic crisis that George Bush and the Republicans left us. So you have that wind of change. It's going to be interesting 2016 because you're going to have Hillary Clinton running, and pending on how she's going to position her campaign, you're not going to have, well, these last 8 years we've had a horrible economy, and so the Republicans are going to have to play on, well, look at our standing in the world. Look, we're in a war here, and that they can't play on the economy, because you got to imagine that come 2016 the economy is going to be even better.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about this more Monday, ladies and gentlemen. We'll talk about this more Monday. But let's bring in the most beautiful girl in the world, somebody that really needs no introduction, but we're going to introduce her, and I'm going to introduce her as beautiful Kate.
Hi.
Hi. Hi.
Hi.
How are you? Hi. 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 You got news? You got interesting things?
I have a quasi update.
All right, give it to me.
You didn't talk about your disease today. Not your disease, but the disease. We kind of talked about Ebola.
Well, we did.
Did you talk about the Washington guy?
A little, but
Okay.
I said that because see, ladies and gentlemen, when I'm doing my dialogue in the beginning, Young Summers is gathering her news for the show, so she doesn't really pay attention. Yeah, I touched on the fact that we're still waiting to find out what's going on with the guy in Washington.
Oh, so you did say that he went to the hospital and he's in isolation.
And the fact that he came from West Africa.
For Nigeria.
Yeah, Nigeria. Trying to be a power walker, I think, in the Olympics or something. So what's going on?
Can they just, nothing.
They haven't confirmed yet if he has a little Ebola.
But you know,
it's in the blood.
But you know who? Okay, This has nothing to do with Ebola now. But you know how we always like say, oh, you know, this wrestler juices, this wrestler juices.
Yeah.
Now they have a like the wellness violation policy, and like a bunch of wrestlers are getting in trouble for fucking steroids now. Like I saw the highlight, I didn't read the whole story, but now they're like, because they talked about how Randy Orton got in trouble in 2012, and then one other wrestler, like Ricardo or something like that, got in trouble last year, and now there's like 3 fighters that are in trouble this year.
Well, you know what's funny?
Which I'm just like, ugh.
You'll have to read the story,
Yeah.
but that's been in place. See, you don't remember, because I don't think you watched wrestling then, because you really just started watching it because of me. There was a wrestler named Chris Benoit, who was in the WWE.
Mm-hmm.
And one night, or one afternoon, he got a little crazy and decided to kill his wife and kill his fucking kids.
Ew.
And then kill himself.
Oh my god.
And when this happened, they basically pointed all the fingers at 2 things: steroids and brain injury.
Mm-hmm.
And they said because he took so many blows to the head as a wrestler, like chair shots, things like that, and then the amount of steroids that were in his body, they said was enough to, you know, kill, llama or elephants. I mean, they said he had just an ungodly amount of steroids in his body. So that, along with the blows to the head, basically made him a ticking time bomb, and that's what led to him killing his family. So from that point forward, the WWE instituted a drug policy program to test for steroids, and it's called the Wellness Program, and it's supposedly administered by the same people that do the Olympics.
Okay.
And test the athletes in the Olympics. And if you noticed, they don't do things in they don't do chair shots anymore to the head. They don't do things to the head that they used to do, because they don't want to have concussions anymore. So that's what happened in the result of Chris Benoit.
Unless you're Brock Lesnar attacking the Undertaker, and then he's like out cold.
Yeah, well.
But
yeah.
I think a punch to the face is a lot better than taking a fucking chair smashed against your head.
Well, yeah, I mean, they
especially because, like, in wrestling, it's, you know, when you look at the punches, yeah, they're fake, and sometimes, like, if you're too sweaty, you kind of slip, like boxing, how they have, like, the slip grips, but it'll still cut you. It's, like, one of those things, and even whenever they do the chair shots, like, what was it, WrestleMania, or whatever fight it was that Triple H took out the chair and then started hitting Bryan with it, you know, it's like it was all fake.
Yeah, and he didn't
hitting
hit
the
him in the
post.
head.
And he was also hitting the post.
Yeah.
And so Bryan's doing this. It's like, guys,
they
you gotta
hit the
change
leg,
it.
like, oh, I'm gonna bang your knee up. But back in the day, even in XPW, it was like a badge of honor, and it was just something that the fans loved, and you would take chair shots,
Yeah.
and you would just basically hit somebody in the head with the chair as hard as you could, to the point where the chair would bend over the head, because the metal in the chair, you could buy the metal chairs that aren't like 1/4 inch thick, so they you know, they're thin, that they won't completely kill you, but thick enough that people go, holy shit. And I mean, there was a time in WWE during the Attitude Era where they set up a gimmick, and it was Mick Foley, Mankind against The Rock, and they had like a feud going. And at one point, and this was like, you know, it was a big thing, uh, he had McFoley in a position where he was like vulnerable, tied up, whatever, and couldn't put his hands up, couldn't get away, and Rock hit him in the head with the chair like 30 times, and it was like a big thing. Like it got huge press, and the rest it was one of those. And Rock, to the point where the chair was like bent over Foley's, just boo, and just kept hitting him and hitting him and hitting him. They've done away with all of that. They don't do it anymore. All because of Chris Benoit and
now when
killing
they
his
do
family.
it, it's very choreographed and it's very I'm gonna hit you here.
Yeah, they do it on.
Make it look like
they do it on the. They do it on the arm. They go, okay, well, I'm gonna put your leg around the guardrail or the turn post, and we're gonna hurt your leg. We're gonna make it where we injure your knee, and then they take it and they hit the leg, but it's really hitting the turn post. So it's all overly cautious. They even did away with some moves like pile drivers, certain things.
Even the ladder stuff they got rid of.
Where the guy could get his, accidentally get his head driven into the ground, where you get a concussion or you can get paralyzed. They did away with a lot of that stuff.
It's like some of the stuff they do, even with like the girls, it's always like, dude, it looks like you're gonna break your neck.
Yeah.
Like when the girls did the Black Widow, when they like tie them up around their bodies, and then they like smash them down. It's like, what if you break that girl's tailbone? Because the way they smash is behind, and it's just like, jeez.
So, who are the wrestlers that just got violated?
I didn't look at the story.
Got it.
Some guy named Danny. All I know, that's the only one.
Danny. Hey, Danny.
Like Danny Mc something.
So
I think one of like the
low level guys.
Yeah, SmackDown guys.
Yeah, most of the big guys know when they're getting tested. You got to remember something. At one point, Vince McMahon got indicted and was brought up on federal charges of providing his wrestlers with steroids. Like it almost brought WWE down. This is back in the 80s. Hogan testified against them. It was like a big deal. And Vince McMahon was accused of supplying steroids to his wrestlers. He later was acquitted, but ultimately it was a culture back then. Vince is a bodybuilder. They even owned a bodybuilding company. Like they tried to get into the bodybuilding game. Like they started a bodybuilding federation where not wrestlers, but bodybuilders like Schwarzenegger, things like that, and it failed. But Vince loves bodybuilding. That's like he's always loved it. He's almost 70 years old, and he's got a phenomenal body. Like he's in shape like you wouldn't believe for an old dude. So he always made steroids accessible to the wrestlers because he believed that all wrestlers, and it's kind of like what I believe also, and he still does, he believes all wrestlers should be larger than life, very cartoon-like. Yeah. And that's why there's certain wrestlers that you see get a lot of attention, and they get a lot of that attention because they're so big. And a wrestler that's small, Vince just doesn't like. They say he loves Brock Lesnar. There's just wrestlers that, when you hear Hogan, same thing, when Hogan talks, the whole love affair with him and Vince was Hogan at the time was just so massive and so huge. And the blonde hair, and Vince was like, you are the new superstar Billy Graham, but even 10 times better. And superstar Billy Graham was one of the first wrestlers to use steroids in a way that made him just so big and so freakishly huge. So that's WWE. They've always had the history of the steroid world, and those guys are all they're all you don't look like that and maintain that physique if you're not on the gas. Just doesn't happen. Just doesn't happen. You don't look like they do unless you're on the gas. It's impossible. It's impossible. Impossible. You have a natural look, and then you have a steroid look. That lean look is from good steroids. Like good. Yeah.
Okay, so it wasn't actually. I have to excuse myself. There wasn't actually anybody getting caught. They're saying there's wrestlers that are cheating the system by using HGH.
Yeah.
And so, like, because that stuff doesn't come up, and they're not disclosing any names, but they are saying that there are wrestlers that are kind of, like, they're debating if they should add a, HGH to the system.
Yeah. Yep.
Because the whole thing comes about after just, yesterday, one of the UFC fighters got, Chung Lee got suspended because after his August 23rd fight, he got tested and came up positive, so they suspended him.
He's as old as me. He's old as me. And they showed the picture of him in the gym, and he's like this, and it's funny because the pictures are what got, like, these guys take pictures of themselves all gassed up, and they post them. And then people go, dude, you're on the gas. It's like that Indianapolis, the Colts player. People were like, dude, you are freakishly huge. So Chung Lee took pictures of himself and basically posted them, and people went, you look like 10 times bigger than you did when you were younger. And you're older now. You're 42 years old. And he's all like this. It's fucking, you don't, yeah. 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 Yep. Can't do that. Can't do that. Can't do that.
No.
And get away with the whole testing, and they're fucking clueless. So, anyways, what do you got? There's our WWE steroid HDH story with your big boobs flopping around. Look at those things. Tables.
Round tables. Not flat tables, round tables.
Tables.
Not square shaped. Okay. So, Teresa Giudices. We didn't say her sentence yesterday because it didn't come until yesterday evening.
We did say it, though.
Not on air. Because remember, we didn't know until we got home.
No, you got it right towards the end. We just didn't really talk.
Oh, yeah, okay. I don't know. Oh, because, yeah.
Remember,
I have to talk about, because there's, like, way more. There's, like stuff that you'll be like, okay, all right. So, she got sentenced 15 months in prison.
Yeah.
She is due to surrender January 5th. Joe is actually going to stay home with the daughter. So basically it's like they're taking turns. So it's like she's going to go in, he's going to, and then because she has a shorter sentence, and she's going to finish the 15 months, come out, and then he's going to go in. Because that's how they're going to do the whole, like, raise our kids thing, so he can be more of a fraudulent pig, probably. He's fined, Joe is fined $10,000, and the couple owes $414,588 in loans that were illegally obtained. And when he's done with his sentence, they're going to then decide if he's going to get deported back to Italy.
Deported.
Yeah, deported, not departed, sorry. Deported back to Italy. So yeah, so that's the story of the Giudices.
So they gave, that's not unheard of, I completely forgot. So they gave them, the judge gave them mercy and gave them a staggered sentence.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, yeah, let's do it this way. We tried, in my case, tried to do that. Like, we thought about that. And we're going to have the lawyers put in for that. That way, you know, when one, basically the gimmick is, when one's in, you're able to go see the other. Mm-hmm. And then vice versa. But here's the only horrible thing about all that. And they could give two shits because I always thought you said that they were gonna get divorced or they were separated.
It was all rumors.
Oh,
that was the whole thing. Like every rumor, she's not pregnant. They're not getting a divorce. Like the whole thing was whoever was making up those rumors was just to stir more of like this whole sentencing thing.
See,
but she did like an actual interview and was like, because they're both doing a only interview for that Bravo show, Watch What Happens Next with Andy Cohen, and that's the only interview they're doing, or so they say, the only interview they're doing before actually she leaves. I don't think he needs to really do interviews, but yeah, so their whole story is basically going to come out then.
See, what's retarded, and this is the issue, especially, I read, their kids are old.
No, they're not. They're all under 13. Oh.
Hold on.
I get what you're saying.
Their kids are not 2 and 3 and 4 years old.
Right.
I read like one's 9 or 10, another. So what they've done by doing this, which is stupid, because if the judge was willing to do this, that means that they probably could have worked out, and chances are, because their lawyers and everybody are involved are a lot better than my fucking loser scumbag lawyers, they probably won't go to prison across the United States. Chances are they're probably going to go in a close proximity in that New York area, probably go to Otisville or something. They have a big enough family that those kids could have been with the grandparents or something, because now what happens is a sentence, in theory, that would normally be 3 years is now extended, meaning she goes to jail, so now the kids, her husband, everybody are put in a situation where she's now gone for 15 months. She gets out, and then he goes for 3 years. So in theory, you got that family that are going to be now involved with this for like 4 or 5 years. Instead of both of them going at the same time, and now you eliminate a year and a half. You kind of get what I'm saying? So, like, they're going to go through all this dramatic thing. The mom's going to fucking go there. She comes out, and everybody, oh, we're in. And now the father goes, all right, now I'm going. And now you got to go through that whole process again. Instead of just going, let's just get it over with. Let's go. Done. I only got 18 months, or 15 months. I'll be out in 12. I'll be out in 13. And we both go in, I get out, and your father will be out that much sooner because we already did the 13. Like I said, if they had no family, I could see it. And if the kids were little children, but they're not. They're fucking 9, 10, 11, 13 years old. It's like, what the fuck? Yeah, but hey, whatever. So they're going to be going through this for years and years and years. It's not something that will just be done. How long did he get again?
Got 3.5. 41 months.
How many? 41 months.
Yeah.
So, I'll tell you, hold on. So, I'll tell you exactly what this dummy's going to do. So, 41 by 12. He got 3 years and 4 months. Okay? So, he got 41 12. So he gets 2, 4, 6. So he's gonna do just under 3 years because he'll get two months per year.
Yeah.
It's gonna do just under 3 fucking years. Just under 3 years. It's a long fucking time, man. It's a long fucking time. A lot happens in 3 years. You know, that's a long time. So their lives are going to be consumed for 41 months, her 15, 40, for 56 months. It's crazy to do that scattered thing when kids are kind of old. And to me, when you're 12 and 13, you're kind of old. Yeah. Like I said, you're not dealing with the 2 or 3 year old during the years of developing. You're fucking 12 and 13. You're gonna constantly.
It must be so hard for those girls because they have to go to school with kids going, I'm sorry about your parents, oh my god, that totally sucks, oh my god, or it's just like they're constantly like just nagged at all the time talking about their parents. It's like, come on guys, I get it, my parents are going to prison, I understand, alright? You don't gotta rub in my face.
Like I said, going at the same time, the whole shock is there. So she's gonna go to jail, and they all have lingering in their head that dad's gonna go as soon as mom leaves. To me, that is a shittier feel, like, to know that this agony ain't over.
Yeah.
Instead of like, all right, kiss, kiss, we're both going, we'll see you guys soon. Instead, it's like, one goes in, one. It just prolongs be like, if I did that.
Well, maybe they also want, consensual rights or whatever it's called, where like they can go and fuck each other.
No, they don't do that in Fed.
Oh yeah, they're in Fed, I forgot.
They're in big time. They're in big time.
State prison does that?
Yeah, some of them.
Oh.
But yeah, that's where it is in state prison.
Oh, that's so weird.
Not all of them, but whatever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they'll go to a place like I went to. They ain't gonna go to.
They're not gonna go to an easy prison.
They could you know what? They could they'll probably go to a camp. My bad. They'll probably go to a federal. They'll probably go to a federal camp where there's no fences. Where in theory they could just walk away if they wanted to.
That's weird.
That's where they'll go. Chances are they would probably, they won't go to an FCI. They won't go to a low. They'll go to a camp. So out there, I could see them going to, I don't know what woman's place is, but guys, I could see him going to Lewisburg. That's where my dad went. Lewisburg. It's a camp. Or Allenwood. Allenwood's got a golf course.
Jeez.
Yeah.
I bet every inmate in Texas wanted to be in New York, huh? I mean, they're in New Jersey, but I'm sure they get sent to New York because it's like there.
That's what I'm saying. They're more apt to go. He's more apt to go to Lewisburg or Allenwood. Some federal places have swimming pools.
Didn't you say one of the guys had one camp?
Back in the day, there was a prison called Boron that was out here in California, and that's where all the pornographers that got in trouble, they went to Boron, had a pool. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah. It all depends on some of the federal the camps are decent. If you can go to a goddamn camp, you're alright. A camp, not all have pools and stuff, but I mean, if you go to a camp where there is no locked doors, going to a federal camp, a prison camp is like like being in the military. That's exactly what it's like. Nobody there wants to do anything bad, because if you do anything bad, you get sent to a place like I was at. Like, we had a camp. Remember I told you, we had 3 prisons. We had where I was, then we had the camp, and then we had a military base that was like a camp. And you worked on fucking boats. You worked on military equipment. So you like cleaned like fucking, I don't know, you cleaned fucking tanks. I don't know, whatever the fuck you did. Depending on where the federal camp was. There's camps in Florida. And they're actually called, Camp Fort Dix and things like that. And they have these camps. So ultimately,
oh my god, it's still crawling.
Well,
You're right by it.
there. Did I kill it? Okay, fuck it. I don't know what kind of bug it was.
It was a little roach.
Was it a little roach?
Yeah.
Was it a little cucaracha?
Cucaracha.
So those some of those camps aren't bad. Some of them they give you permission to drive into town, like not by your. Let me refrain that. Depending on what job you could get, you could take the prison van and go into like the local town, because you would have to pick up materials. So they're like Matt. I think Matt said when he was there, he did a couple things where he drove into town.
Would there be like police security in it though?
No, you're by yourself.
Wouldn't it be easy to?
But where are you gonna go?
I don't know.
But I mean, think about it. If you're doing a year or two, where are you gonna go? If you escape and keep going somewhere, then you get years.
Yeah, true.
So if you're there for wire fraud, or you're there because you lied on your tax returns and stole $500,000 and you get sentenced to 26 months, and you're in a camp, and you get, a job where you're driving a little prison truck, and 3 days a week you got to go into the local town and pick stuff up. Fuck you, where are you going to go? Oh, I'm just going to go. Where are you going to go? They have a manhunt for you. Then they capture you, and then you do years. So the shadiest thing that anybody would do would be going into town and buying food.
Oh.
Actually having somebody smuggle money in, because you can't have money in there. But at a camp, it's easy to, in a visiting room, have somebody give you $5. Or it's easy to have, go to a guard, hey man, let me borrow $2. When I go into town, I want to get a McChicken sandwich or something. That's like the shadiest thing that they do when they're in town. Or sometimes they just ask somebody on the street, hey man, can I borrow $1? I work over at the thing, I want to get like real food. And a lot of times someone will be like, yeah dude, here's like $2.
Easy money.
Yeah, here, go. And if you're nice enough, because remember, all those towns are used to the prisoners coming in and out. You're at La Tuna, you go into El Paso.
Yeah.
So that's where you drive into. You have your uniform on, you walk into a store, You go there to pick up stuff. The prison goes, all right, you got to go there. So you get to know the people. So what happens is, it's like, oh, hey, John, hey, because you're doing it. It's like, hey, man, will you buy me a sandwich or something? And they're like, yeah, sure. Sometimes sometimes the people volunteer. And they're like, hey, man, want a fucking hamburger? And you're like, yeah. Happens. That shit happens. That's the most.
Well, it's kind of nice that like the public will do that.
Oh, I would do if I was working in business, and I dealt with the prison, and I did business with the prison where I sold them goods and services, and 3 days a week they had a guy come and pick stuff up. I'd be like, yo, bro, here, you want a hamburger? Fuck yeah, man. Yeah, I would do that. I 100% would do that. They loved me. Those guys loved me. They loved me. So, there you go. We'll see what happens with the douchies. The douchies.
The douchies. With their big ol' eyes.
They're definitely douchies. Definitely. Alright, give me something else.
So, in more family affairs, Khloe Kardashian made a joke on Rob Kardashian's Instagram, because he posted, now Wednesdays, there's Women Crush Wednesdays, #WCW. And you post a picture of a girl and you say #WCW so-and-so. So Rob Kardashian posted a picture of Khloe in these skin-tight, yoga pants, right? And says, #WCW at Khloe Kardashian, Shnee Me Claw.
What's that mean?
I don't know. And then she replies, totally normal brother-sister relationship. Incest at its best. #Hey Boo Hey. And that was her reply back. And now everyone's like, whoa. And they're living together again. And them two always been the closest out of everybody. And they're always making weird jokes with each other. So everyone's like, look at their incestual jokes.
Well, aren't they? They're not. Yeah, they are. I was gonna say they're not the full-blooded ones, but yeah, they are. They're the ones. They're right. They're from.
The four. It's Courtney, Kim, Khloe, and Rob.
Yeah, all the rest of the douches are all from.
Because Rob's the youngest.
They're all from Jenner.
Yeah, the two.
Yeah.
Just the two girls.
Yeah.
The little ones.
Because I remember watching the clip on E, when you know how you watch your wrap-up shows, and they showed a clip of Brody making a comment, and then Brody making a comment, or then Brody making a private comment to one of the friends, and they were on their Cancun trip, and they ratted him out on it, talking about how it was something like he got a hard out, a chubby, and he walked in on Kim getting undressed or something and got a chubby. And he told one of the people at the thing privately, and one of their friends ratted him out on the boat, and when they were on their little trip, and it was this whole big, and he's all embarrassed. And then one of I think it was the mom, said that Kim and him kissed when they were young. So it was this whole little thing, and I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, they're not related. Yeah. The fuck? 100%, they're not related. That's his sister. Big fat ass Kim Kardashian is his sister. Sure, he could fucking go stick his dick in between her big fat Armenian cheeks.
Yeah.
So I remember that stupid thing. So yeah.
That whole family is just weirdly close. Weird. I'm not trying to throw any oh, they're all banging each other. But they are very weirdly close, unless it's just an Armenian thing. Like just the siblings, like the old ones, not the kids, but like the siblings. They're always like together. I understand the show you have to make them together, but it just seems like they're always. I mean, Rob and Chloe live together. It's like a 30-year-old woman lives with her 28-year-old brother. Like why? Like his salt company's not doing that well that he has to like, and he's like excited and loves that he lives with his sister. It's like, you weirdo.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a I think that shit's like Armenian stuff.
And to me, it's like, I thought the whole thing was like, I mean, I understand that Senior's not alive anymore, but I always thought that the son, you know, is portrayed to has to get married and start a family quick. Like, by the time they're like 30, they have to be married, or it's like, why aren't you married? Why don't I have grandkids? But Senior's not alive, so he can't do that. So Rob's just like, yeah, I'm fat. My sister's fat. We fat fuck. We eat and we watch TV. Yeah, we're fat. We're fat and cool.
I think it's an Armenian thing. And that's not being racist. I just think it's because I would never have imagined growing up in Rochester with my friends. And or all the people, all the Italians, nobody was like, yeah, I'm gonna go like live with my sister.
Yeah, that's weird.
Like, I stayed with my sister and her brother, my brother-in-law. Like, that's different. Like, to me, it's different when you're young and you're like, I'm gonna go live with my sister and my brother-in-law. My you know, it's a little different. But to be like a grown man and you're like, yeah, me and my sister are gonna live together. It's like, why? Why would you live with your fucking sister? It's fucking weird.
Like, if you're like in college, like in your college age, so like between 18 and 23, it's okay, because it's like, you know, like you're still trying to figure yourself out, and by the time you're 23, you're fully like able to. I get it. I can live by myself and not have someone. Like, that's one thing, you know. So it's like sisters live together, brothers live together, but they all leave like after 22, 23 years old. So it's just really odd that a 28-year-old man is like, I'm gonna live with my 30-year-old sister. Fat. And we're gonna eat fat together.
Be fat. We're gonna eat hot dogs.
Like, just
and ham.
And smoke weed. And hookah.
And what is it?
Smoke hookah.
Yeah, smoke hookah. We're gonna smoke hookah, eat hummus.
Eat naan.
Eat naan. Hookah. E-vapors.
Yeah.
We have e-vape. Drive a BMW. And use so much cologne that we don't even need to shower for a month.
I bet he's smelly. I bet he is like horrifically smelly.
You can just tell he is. You can tell he just bathes in, what's that cologne? What is it called?
Axe?
No.
Old Spice?
That stuff where I'm walking down the hall and I go,
patchouli.
Patchouli. You know he just bathes in patchouli.
He's like, hey, and look at my eyebrows. I get them waxed. We all go to the same wax set. Hey, oh, look at that.
You know
look how pretty they are.
You know he's got a bottle of patchouli like this. And he just
I smell fresh and clean.
I smell fresh and clean. Puts it on his balls.
I don't know why. Well, I know why I'm making fun of he doesn't sound like an actual Armenian, so it doesn't work. It's like he's like, hi, I'm like Rob Kardashian.
Well, because they're Armenians who don't. It's like they purposely don't act Armenian because they don't want people to look at them as ethnic. They want people to just look at them as white people with tans. Like they don't want anybody to go, look at those Persians, look at those Armenians, look at those Iranians, look at them. They're just like, oh, it's, you know, a white girl with a tan. They don't want to be Armenian, because they don't even talk about being Armenian. You know, they don't do the Armenian genocide conversations.
And you know what? It's because I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that Senior's not around. Because Chris, she's white, you know, so whatever Rob Kardashian, like, died, he was, you know, the kids were young. They were, you know, 15, 16 years old. So it wasn't like when they got older, it wasn't like they were really raised into that whole heritage and how to really, you know, be a part of the whole Armenian thing. So it's like they were raised more white than anything.
Yeah.
Especially having Bruce around for 23 years.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of like...
You're right. They basically have did away with their Armenian culture.
Man, they sure do look it.
Oh God, they look just like any Armenian in Glendale driving a BMW.
I remember whenever
David Patchouli.
I remember when they first stepped on the spot, and my dad would always make fun of the way they dressed, because he goes, I don't understand why they gotta wear these jeans that are so tight that it's like they have these huge, like, it's like, he's like, they look like cartoons. Their butt's this big, and then all of a sudden it's like these stick legs, and then the boots that go over the knee. And that was like what they wore all the time, and he didn't understand. He's like, I hate that. It's so gross. Like, girls should not look like that, and they should not have big furry eyebrows.
Big furry eyebrows, and they got that big, dark, thick hair.
I know.
That real coarse hair.
I remember when I had black hair, because I had black hair at one time, and my hair's really thick. You know that. It's like superly thick. And it was like down to here, and it was black, and I probably looked like an Armenian, a gothic Armenian.
A gothic Armenian.
Yeah, except
yeah,
without
but
the
you know
bushy
what it
eyebrows.
is though? No, because your skin complexion is white. Because Armenians, if you didn't know any better, they look Mexican.
Yeah.
They kind of have a Mexican feel to them. So an Armenian, without talking, you're like, oh, that's a Mexican. But the minute they open their mouth, you're like, oh, they're Armenian. They're Middle East. There's something. The same dialect that you get when you watch people from the Middle East. That
and you know
same.
What? And you know what? Persians like completely different. Persians, like, you know, they have they're lighter skin, lighter hair, and lighter eyes. Like, the Armenians have the dark look, and they look very, like you said, Mexican. And then the Persians, at least the ones that I've seen, they all look like me. Like Russian. That's how they look. They look more Russian.
Well, they're Iranian.
Their
Persia is technically like that's technically they're Iranian. I told you that Persia Palais, whatever her name is, said she goes, I'm Persian, and I remember going, what is that? She explained that it's really Persian is really something to do with Iran.
Yeah, but to me, all like the ones I came across and all the ones that I've met, like the girls and the guys, they all have like lighter complexion, lighter hair, and like lighter eyes. Like, not necessarily saying they had blue eyes, but just necessarily like, you know how like Armenians have brown fucking eyes? They had like light brown or green eyes, so it was just like, oh, you can definitely tell them apart.
Yeah, I know.
Until they start talking, then you're like, oh, you're all the same.
Yeah, exactly.
You all fucking speak Arabic.
Yeah, you all speak this Arabic weird. Okay, go for it, my friend. And Armenians are Christian. That's the other thing I was told. Because I remember I asked the kid at the hookah store once. I said, "What are you guys, Muslim?" And he's like, "No!" I got all offended.
Yeah, they
like, we're Christian. We have one of the biggest. Okay, all right. Sorry,
like,
sorry,
friend,
bro.
That's how my friend Zena is. She's from Lebanon, like her whole family's from Lebanon, and they're Christian. It's like it's the actual like Muslim like little tri-state that they have. You know, that's like just Muslim. Granted that you have the whole Middle East that's mixture, but you have like the essential like ground Muslim 3 countries, which is Iraq, Iran, Afghanistan,
Egypt,
Saudi Arabia. So you have like a whole little like that actual area that's like this big, and all the little countries in it that are all Muslim, and everything around it's like Jews and Christians.
Yeah, you got they're like pockets.
Yeah.
Pockets.
It's like each like there's a section where each like religious group belongs to, and then you have Israel.
yeah, Israel. Oh man. All right.
Yeah. So Clint Eastwood has a new movie coming out Christmas.
Yeah, I haven't seen the trailer, but I hear it's supposed to be really
I know.
good.
We're gonna watch it tonight.
Like some
because
military...
maybe it'll be on Hulu. Like the trailer will be on Hulu, so we can watch it on the TV. But it's called American Sniper. It's based off the book by Navy SEAL Chris Kyle. His book is called American Sniper. He's actually was one of the most dangerous snipers for the U.S. Bradley Cooper plays him. So Bradley Cooper stars him. Bradley Cooper did a interview with USA Today, and he said that he didn't get to meet Chris Kyle, but he talked to him on the phone, and like a couple of days after he talked to Chris Kyle on the phone, Chris Kyle was shot by one of the Marines that went like crazy. And I totally forgot, like I remember hearing about this story, like when I do my stories and I come across, and I like remember reading, because the name Chris Kyle is so prominent and it stuck out. And then whenever this came out, I was like, oh my god, I totally forgot about Chris Kyle, because he had the book. Because when the book came out, he talked about the book, and then they talked about how he got shot by this Marine that went like insane. But yeah, so Bradley Cooper says that he gained 40 pounds to look the part and like train, and he trained with people who actually trained with Chris Kyle, including Kyle's sniper partner Kevin Dauber Locks, which I thought was pretty cool. So that comes out Christmas Day, and Clint Eastwood directed it. Steven Spielberg was going to direct it, but Clint Eastwood got all like the rights and everything last August for the movie. To do the movie before Steven Spielberg could do it.
Well,
yeah.
I'll tell you.
They're saying it's good. They're saying this is going to be the comeback for the past like 3 movies that he did that were kind of like. Oh.
Yeah, well, the last one was that Jersey Boys that everybody shit on.
I didn't know he did that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he did
I
Jersey
did
Boys. He did Jersey Boys, and people were like, horrible.
But they love the musical.
Yeah, well, that's different. The movie was shit. Horrible. Yeah, I heard this is supposed to be, the trailer is supposed to be, it's just that they say it's supposed to be phenomenal, this movie. I did see a little blurb. I didn't know Cooper was in it, but I read a blurb that was like, because the headline was new Clint Eastwood movie trailer, heart stop, like a minute of heart stopping action or something. It was just something that the trailer, you're like, wow. So, wow. Yeah, this is the big Clint Eastwood movie, but he always, for the most part, Clint, you always pretty much get a good movie out of Eastwood. I mean, rarely do you get a shitter. I mean, you do, but rarely. No, and the good ones are like so over the top good. Mm-hmm. Like Gran Torino, where you're just like, wow, this is good. And you're just like, fuck you, this movie was good. Yeah. It's even that fucking $1 Million Baby was fucking.
I've seen parts of it. I've never seen the whole thing.
Yeah, just again, things like that he does, where you're like, all right, this is fucking awesome.
He won for that movie.
Yeah.
$1 Million Baby.
So, Yeah, he very rarely does a fucking. It's kind of the same thing with it's like Scorsese. Very rarely does Scorsese do a shitty movie. And when he does a shitty movie, and you're like, eh.
It's called Shutter Island.
Yeah, it's like Shutter Island, and then he comes back with a Wolf of Wall Street, and you're like, oh my god, that's fucking awesome.
Yep.
So he definitely makes up for it. So
Are you looking for a calendar for 2015?
I'm looking for a calendar, and I want to be excited by this calendar.
It's the most amazing calendar of all time.
I'm very excited to tell me about this calendar.
New York has put out the sexiest taxi driver calendar for 2015.
Look at this fucking guy. Oh my god.
You can get it on Facebook or Twitter for $14.99.
Look at this dirty cab driver. You know he just stinks like non-champa and body odor.
Now, these taxi drivers, they're posing sexy in their cars.
I'm looking at him.
Shirtless, with puppies, with kitties, looking cute, looking sexy, popping out of the car saying, come drive with me.
Yeah. Come drive with me and smell like shit when you get out.
And not understand one word I say.
And not understand one word I'm saying. And hopefully you'll get to your destination without me killing you, because I'm doing about 1,000 miles an hour in downtown Manhattan. Yeah. Oh
now,
my god. Look at this guy.
Half the proceeds goes to University Settlement, which is a group dedicated to immigrants and low-income families to help get education, decent housing,
and showers for the cab drivers.
Yes. To be able to go outside and work out and be able to stay healthy and help the older people.
You know, they actually, I don't know if they ever did it, but they wanted to make a law in New York with the cabs where like they couldn't be smelly. I don't remember whatever happened with that, but they were going to do some type of law that says they can't have cabs be smelly. And they would be in inspections where the cab driver couldn't make it smell like non-champa and body odor. I'm not bullshit. I'm not being nasty. They were going to make a law that said the cabs can't stink anymore. I wondered what happened. They probably abandoned it and went to making calendars. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Look, wonder what his name is. What if his name is like Adnan? It's like Adnan Hachnik. Fucking driver out of the Bronx. Look at him. Look at his tits. I mean, seriously. Look at his tits. Jesus. Look at him. Kind of looks like this kid that used to work for me, Dennis D.
Maybe that's him.
Yeah, maybe he gained some weight. He's driving cab in New York. Man, look at this. I'm looking at this picture, and the guy, I just looking at it, I can smell him from here. That's, oh man. Oh man, all right, go ahead, Summers. Oh, you got a mouthful.
Mm-hmm.
Catherine's got a mouthful of chocolate goodness, and it's not a big black cock. Chocolate goodness.
Amanda Bynes was spotted in New York City.
Oh yeah!
With a fucking bandage on her face.
Really?
This big. No one knows what happened to her. She was last seen at LAX on Thursday, last night, and then all of a sudden the next day, today, Friday, she has a fucking bandage on her face in New York City.
Hi, did she have a wig on or anything, did they say?
She dyed her hair blonde. She was brunette, but she dyed her hair.
She's back to blonde.
Mm-hmm.
She's in New York City, where she was before, throwing bongs out windows. So whoever her little hookup is in New York City.
Yep. Sugar daddy.
Yeah, and she's
That's
there.
what it has to be. It's fucking sugar daddy. And he's like, just hide out in my dungeon.
Well, wasn't she banging around with some black dude when she was taking pictures with some black guy on one of her Instagrams, and they were getting all fucked up? Wasn't there like a...
I don't know if it was nobody famous.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Wasn't it?
But yeah, I'm sure she likes the Black Dina. I bet you that's her hookup.
It's gotta be like some fucking...
But she is active on Twitter now.
Oh, she's back on Twitter.
Yeah.
And what's she doing? Like saying anything crazy?
I haven't looked at her Twitter, but I know she's back on it.
We need to know. We need to hook into Amanda Bynes' Twitter and like just I don't know, send messages to her. Like, Amanda, what's up? What's up? What's wrong with your fucking face? Why do you have a bandage on your face? Amanda Bynes. Man, that fucking girl. Fucking girl. Alright, well, the Bynester is back. And she's roaming around in New York City. So, guys, if you're in New York City, just know that you can hook up with Bynes. She's somewhere with blonde hair and a bandage on her face. So, alright. Good update, baby.
Yep.
It's a good update. Any new tweets from her?
No, not since May.
Oh, so...
Unless she has a new account.
She must have a new account. Alright. Give it to me.
Alright, so Fox News is mad at Obama.
Oh, well, why?
Because Obama was at Northwestern University talking about healthcare.
Yeah.
And he says, while good affordable healthcare might seem like a fringe threat to the freedom of the American people on Fox News, it's working pretty well in the real world. And that pissed everybody off that's involved in Fox News. Greta Van Swarsten, she says that it was very unpresidential and he needs to be tougher. Greg Gutfeld from The Five says he bashes NFC more than ISIS and we don't behead anybody. Okay. And there's more little rants from, but yeah, so Fox News is mad at Obama and says, why is he so concerned? Oh, there was one blogger that was talking about how when Bush was president, he never talked about any news station and never bashed any news station and never blamed, or Obama needs to stop blaming Fox News for his problems. So yeah, so Obama's bashing Fox News.
Alright. Well.
Do you have anything to say about that?
Not really. I mean, it's Fox News. They're jerk-offs.
Yeah.
For, again, Fox News, to listen to them complain that the president made jokes about them is pretty hysterical, considering that Fox News doesn't just do shows where they criticize the president's policies. They actually do shows questioning that he's a citizen. They question his status as being a citizen of the. I mean, the things that Fox News does to this president is way beyond any news organization that is on, these networks, whether it's CNN or MSNBC, criticizing Bush or Cheney. And a matter of fact, when you listen to people talk about you know, how MSNBC is really the liberal version of Fox. Well, yes and no. Because MSNBC has a 3-hour program first thing in the morning, which is hosted by a conservative named Joe Scarborough. Joe Scarborough is a Republican. Joe Scarborough basically sides with Republicans more than he does with Democrats. So MSNBC has a program in the morning that goes against the other morning programs that are on CNN and Fox, Fox and Friends, and Scarborough is a Republican. So it's funny to watch Fox News cry like they're these innocent little babies, and you know, oh, the president picks on poor us. It's like, you guys are horrible to this president. He makes a joke about Fox News, and you all are distraught, and yet you'll actually run programming where you're investigating if the president is born in Hawaii or in Kenya. You have people on your programs, Sean Hannity, Bill O'Reilly, that literally create shows based on not going, I don't think the president's policy is working. But you have programs where you actually lie about the president. Bill O'Reilly got an interview with the president. He got to have the interview with the president that I think was on during the Super Bowl, if I recall, where Bill O'Reilly interrupted the president. Like, literally, the president would be talking and Bill O'Reilly was interrupting him. Like not letting him speak, to the point where they were getting into like a verbal argument. It was really weird. It was incredibly disrespectful. That's a Fox News staple. Bill O'Reilly. The president gave Fox News and Bill O'Reilly an interview, and they took it upon themselves to basically trash the president. Do to him what nobody else has ever done to a president. George Bush never got on there with Chris Matthews, and Chris Matthews just grilled him and interrupted him. No. But they did that to Obama. So it's funny to watch Fox News cry that Obama uses them as a punchline. It's just beyond amusing. So there's my comment on Fox News.
No, I like sit back and I think to myself, I wonder if Obama, whenever 2016 comes around, if he's gonna sit back at his house and go, "Thank God I'm not the president anymore." Because it's like that poor guy takes so much criticism. Like, I understand he's very strong and he takes it. So whenever you have this Greta
Van Susteren,
whatever her name is, woman saying that he's, you know, not tough enough, it's like he's the toughest, like, to me, the toughest president. It's like he doesn't get walked on. He fights back and he knows what's right. And it's like they're so uppity.
And the funny thing is, he shoots their jokes.
Yeah.
He gives them
and he's talking to college kids.
Yeah.
It's like he's talking to young liberals that get it.
He is using Fox News as a punchline, as a joke.
Yeah.
No different than everybody else in the media and comedy does. Saturday Night Live, other political shows make fun of Fox News. Colbert Report constantly makes fun of Bill O'Reilly.
Yeah.
Obama wasn't at a press conference He wasn't at a State of the Union address. He was talking to college kids. And he made a joke about Fox News. It's like, really, Fox News? You guys are that sensitive after you question that this president was born in the United States?
It's horrible.
And you have people on your shows demanding they see birth certificates. You have people like Ted Nugent on Fox, on the network, and he's basically calling the president a nigger. I mean, if you really want to be technical, a subhuman mongrel. Really? Ted Nugent goes on Fox News.
Yeah.
And they're upset because the president makes a joke, and again, they're just they're just so they can dish it out, but they can't take it. That's Fox News. So what are you gonna do? Fox News.
So on to sports news.
Give me sports news.
John Gruden likes everyone to know that he's not going to be a head coach for the Raiders. He made a statement. He goes, "I'm not thinking about coaching. I'm thinking about heading to Washington, watching the world champions, and my brother coach." His brother's Jay Gruden, just in case no one knows. Oh yeah. So he has no intentions of being a coach again. He likes where he's at.
Come next year, he will. He won't do it this year. He won't. But John Gruden is A, too good of a coach, B, too young, and C, has the work ethic to not get back in there and coach. I mean, he's young. He's not. For him to be a political or a sports analyst for the rest of his life, that ain't gonna happen. He's going
Maybe
to.
he could get Troy Aikman to be the coach.
Nah, Aikman's no coach. Aikman can't. You've got to be a coach, and you would have had to have done it all your life, or at least after your football career.
I always wonder how like I can when we talk like that Tillman from the Chicago Bears being a defensive coordinator, like you can see that it's like one of those things. It's like you can definitely see how someone is on the sidelines.
Well, what happens is they do it after football, and then they get low-level coaching jobs. Example, you know how we were watching that Hard Knocks Atlanta Falcons? Mm-hmm. Remember the coach, and he's the defensive coach. He's the defensive.
Big black guy.
Brian Cox.
Yeah.
Okay, he was a defensive lineman for the Miami Dolphins during the era of the Buffalo Bills and Jim Kelly. So during the early 90s, he was one of the best players on defense for the Miami Dolphins and in the league. And he was one of those attitudes. Like, see how he is on there where he yells at it? He was like that as a player. He would get in trouble because he was so intense. He was one of those guys that would get in the fights on the field, and that's Brian Cox. So when he retired, he then got a job, not right away with the Falcons, but he was like, I want to be a coach. And of course, when he was a player, he was probably a team captain.
Yeah.
He was probably somebody that called defensive signals. He was probably somebody that showed an aptitude for coaching. He was probably somebody that would get involved with the coach, not the head coach, but the defensive coach, going, hey, what about, we should try this and this. And that's how it happens. And then he retires, and word gets out of how good of a person he is as a coach, meaning when he was a player. Those are the guys that get the defense. Come on, guys! And he's a player. Like Strahan. Strahan probably would have been a good coach as far as how he motivates and stuff, but he probably didn't want to be part of
Well,
that.
it's just like Urlacher. There's Brian Urlacher. He was the
Urlacher seems like he would have
because he was the captain, and he was the one that called all the shots on the defensive line, and everyone I think was like, oh, he can actually become a defensive coordinator. He can actually be a coach, but it's like he didn't want that. Because as you see, I mean, as he got older, he started getting hurt more, and he was out a lot. But even now, it's like he doesn't seem he's interested in football anymore. Like, he doesn't love it. He doesn't have the passion for it. So it's like he doesn't want to be a coach or anything like that.
Singletary, who was coach of the Niners in defense, he was the Bears. He was the linebacker with the Bears during the Super Bowl. Yeah, Mike Singletary. So he was a coach. He's a coach. He's a defensive coach.
Yeah.
So it depends. But yeah, if Aikman was going to be wanted to be a coach, he would have done it the day he retired.
Yeah. They should bring the Dungy back. Or the other black guy, the one that does the other panel. Was he the Saints coach?
Well, Dungy.
There was another black man that was the coach. That's now part of the analyst.
Dungy won't come back because he's older and he retired because he's older.
Did he actually make a statement saying he doesn't want to coach again?
He's like, I want to be with my family. I like traveling on the weekend to be an analyst and then going home for the week.
Yeah.
You're a coach. You got to do it every day, 20 hours a day, and they do it almost all year round, literally. Because in the off season, remember when you're in your off season, you're not hanging out. You're getting ready for the draft.
Yeah.
You got to draft college kids. You got to go visit college kids,
so
to speak. I mean, not visit them, but you
gotta go to the school.
Yeah, you're meeting. You're involved with the process of interviewing without interviewing college kids to see if they would make a fit and if you are going to draft them. Because remember, if you got the number 8 pick, and there's, there are hundreds of college kids come out for the draft, but the top 20, who you're going to get. Like, you go, all right, there's going to be 20 kids coming out. This quarterback, this running back, this linebacker. Chances are he's going to go here, he's going to go here. I'm going to have a shot at these 6 guys. Out of these 6 guys, I like 3 of them. But I need to know if those 3 are not retards, if they're not like Jameson or Winston, whatever his fucking name is.
Jameis Winston.
If they're, so that's then the process. So all that stuff is a yearly thing. So, anyways, you got one last gas?
I do. Okay, so this man, his name is Haider Zafar. He is involved with Miami Heat. Not involved, but he is pleaded guilty to 5 wire fraud charges. That's over like about $8 million. He is facing 20 years in prison. To life, basically 20 years to life in prison. He got Mike Miller, James Jones, and Rashard Lewis involved in 2013, where they sent literally wire transfers to a Swiss bank. That's one was $4.5 million, one was $2.7 million, and one was $5 million. And he said that he'd pay him back, and he never did. He also claimed to be part of one of the most richest Pakistani families, which was a complete lie. And he had $1 million worth of 3 season ticket packages from the Miami Heat that he didn't pay for. And he would buy Bentleys, he'd buy houses, he'd buy Escalades, he'd buy Corvettes, he bought a private jet, he bought all this stuff. And it turns out that he was a complete fake and was prosecuted, sent to jail, pleaded guilty, and is now facing 20 years in prison. All because he shows how smart Miami Heat is. But yeah, so that's all the involvement with Miami Heat. It was like $7.5 million altogether that he like frauded from Miami Heat. Oh, and also LeBron James is selling his house for $17 million in Miami. So if you want to get his house, it's up for grabs.
Wow. All right. Well, that's it.
That's it.
All right. That's it.
All right. Say, do your thing.
Au revoir. Happy weekend.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you guys Monday at 11 a.m.